Welcome, welcome to the Daily Mentor Calls. This is call number 43. And today we are going to be talking about placements. When you find people, when you sample them, when you follow up with them, get them to a class, and they are ready to build the business, then you have to decide where to place them. Now, this call is a series of actually 3 calls. So I want you to listen to all 3 calls, and then after, there's going to be a webinar that kind of covers everything all together. But I really want you to understand this one principle. Now, at the beginning of my business, I really thought to myself, who am I looking for? Like, what kind of leaders and builders am I looking for? And what kind of organization do I want to have? I think that many people don't even ask this question at the beginning of their business. And one of the reasons why is because when they start kind of sharing doTERRA and building, they're not even sure if they're going to do a business. But at some time you have to ask yourself, who am I looking for, right? Well, I knew that I was looking for 2 different things. I knew that I was looking for self-reliant leaders. And self-reliant basically means they don't need any help. I mean, that comes after time, right? But they get to the point where they don't need any help. They're doing it all on their own. It's kind of like self-reliant children. When they grow up, they're self-reliant, right? And every once in a while, they'll call you back and they'll need something here and there, but they're self-reliant. That's the kind of leaders that I wanted. It also means that they can build for themselves. And one of the most important parts is that they can find their own leaders, that I don't have to be building for them, that I don't have to be placing for them, that I don't have to be buying in underneath them. And of course, this doesn't happen immediately, but it can happen, and it does happen over time when you find the right people. So number 1, I was looking for self-reliant leaders. And number 2, I wanted time freedom. That was my goal. Self-reliant leaders and time freedom. Now, to me, what does time freedom mean? Well, it definitely doesn't mean that I'm going to be a slave to my business, right? And it also didn't mean to me that I would get to the point after 3 or 4 years or 5 years that I didn't do anything, that I completely disregarded doTERRA and just let the money roll in, because that's also a misconception, right? Time freedom basically means that I am at the point in my business that I can set my own hours, that I can decide when I'm going to work, how I'm going to work, if I'm going to work that day or that week, right? And I knew that this is possible if I set up my business correctly. And with time freedom, the wonderful thing about time freedom is that I can choose. I can choose how to build, and if I wanted to push or if I wanted to hold back. I can choose time with my kids. I can choose time with my husband. And that's what I have in my life right now. I can choose to build more and find more leaders. I could grow as far and as fast as I want, or I could take some time to do some of the things that are really important for me in my life to do, that I want to do. So the next thing we need to talk about is how do we get self-reliant leaders? Like, that's a great thing to want, right? And time freedom is a great goal, but how do we get self-reliant leaders? And, some of you right now might be thinking to yourselves, if I stop building my business, I feel like it's just going to completely fall apart. A really great image is somebody like pushing a boulder up a mountain. And at any time, if you let go or release, that boulder is going to come rolling back on top of you and crush you. It might feel that way. And some of you might feel like you're dragging your leaders and definitely like that you want the business more than they want it themselves. So I think we need to realize that there are 3 types of people that enroll with doTERRA. Of course, and we've heard this before, right? There are product users, and that's 85% of the company, right? And there are sharers. But one of the problems is that a lot of times we believe that these sharers are actually builders, but they're really not. and they're put in the wrong positions. And over time, we realize they're really not building. They just want to share on their own, when it's convenient type thing. And then the last thing is business builders. Now, business builders are people you can count on, that you can rely on. And in time, with training, they become completely self-reliant. So how do you identify which type of person that you have in front of you or that you're working with, right? Well, there's many opportunities in the business to do that. There's many opportunities in our duplication model to do that. The first opportunity, of course, is right at your Intro to Oils class. Do you remember at the end of your class when you talk about 3 types of people that come to this class and you give them an opportunity to kind of choose in, what type are you? Do you just want to, do you love the product and want to use it with your family? Do you want to share it with other people? Or do you want to do what I do and help other people with their health and their wealth and become, and have residual income? And then you ask them, of course, at the end of the class, come and talk to me if you're type 2 or 3. That's the first introduction. Well, there's like 10 introductions in all of our duplication model, right? And the next one might come when at the end of the class, you invite people to host a class themselves. And you hold that little keychain up and you say, hey, any of you that want to host a class and give me a date tonight, you can take home this empty keychain. And then, of course, there's other times that we introduce people and we give them opportunities. That's at continuing education. And, of course, at our wellness consult, we can talk about the opportunity and set them up for a class. And then every single time they go to continuing education, right after the continuing education with product, there's a business training, right? And at the business training, they have an opportunity to get moving and get going. I mean, there's many, many opportunities. Now, as we know, when we have these people, we're working with these people, we only have 14 days to place. And a lot of times, many people just place them where they think is best or where they need volume, and they just wait for them to mature. Sometimes it takes 3 months, 6 months, a year. Sometimes they have to actually come to convention and they think to themselves, I didn't even know that this came with an opportunity to build, This is a long process. And so what we really want to do is speed up the process for those that we think have potential. So our goal is to identify what type of person we're working with as soon as we can before those 14 days are up. So identify if they're just a product user or if they're a sharer or if they're a builder. Now, when it comes to builders, I have a question for you. Do you think that there are different types of builders, or are they all just kind of one and the same? Well, the answer to that is absolutely yes, there are different types of builders, right? You can see this in your organization from the builders that you have in your organization. I'm going to give you a little scenario here, okay? And of course, some of the builders are great and independent. Some of them need your help, and some of them you have just a really hard time getting going at all. So imagine you're dating, and you're maybe it's your first date with a guy, and he says to you, I really like you. I'm a great guy. Hey, let's get married. And you think to yourself, he really seems like a great guy. And he says he's a great guy. Maybe we should get married. Now, of course, this is outrageous. You're not going to just take their word. You're going to actually date them for a while, test them out. Hopefully you will, right? And because you're going to be with them for a really, really, really long time, like for the rest of your life. So just because they say there's something doesn't mean you're going to jump in and say, okay, let's get married. Well, can we put that little scenario into our business? With our business, when we put somebody on our front line to work with them, it's like being married. We're working with them for a really, really, really long time. But unfortunately, many of us we take them at their word. And if they say, yeah, I want to build a business, and yeah, I'm really influential and I know a ton of people, or yeah, I want to host a class right away, we think to ourselves, this is awesome. This is great. Okay, they're totally what I'm looking for. Let's put them on our front line. And when we do that, and a lot of us have, this creates a lot of problems. You know all the problems that it creates. You're dealing with a lot of these problems in your organizations right now. Number one, you have to build for them. You have to place underneath them. They're not as committed as you like. They don't show up to things. At the end of the month, you're going, how do I solve this problem? Sometimes they avoid you. Sometimes they feel like, hey, I didn't want to be pushed this hard. You feel like you want the business more than they do. There's so many problems that it creates when we just take people at their word and put them on our front line because they say that they want to build, or they say they know a lot of people, or they say they want residual income, or they say they'll do whatever we ask them to do and work really hard, right? Well, one of the reasons why I think we struggle with this at the very beginning of our businesses is because, number one, we don't really know what we're looking for. I don't even think it crosses our minds most of the time that we're looking for a specific type of person. But when you're dating and you're looking to get married, are you not looking for a specific type of person? Do you not have, in your mind, I want them to be kind, I want them, and you have a whole list of things, and you're not going to stop. You're going to keep dating and go through a lot of different people until you find what you're looking for, and then you're going to commit, right? Well, I'm absolutely sure that's exactly what you need to be doing in the business. And that's what I did at the very beginning of the business. And that's what I continue to do. And the other problem is we don't really know how to find those people that we're looking for, right? And we don't know how to test them out to see if they're really what we're looking for in those 14 days. Can you imagine if you had to you could only date somebody for 14 days and you had to figure out if they're a great guy and if you wanted to marry them for the rest of your life in 14 days? That would be crazy. But that's kind of what we're put into here in this scenario with doTERRA. And then there's no changing it, right? So let me tell you what I was looking for, because I wanted self-reliant leaders and I wanted time freedom, okay? I was looking, number one, for someone who's committed. Now, let's get really clear on what does it mean to be committed, and I want to, I go around the room sometimes when I'm presenting and I ask people, are you committed? And they go, yeah. Are you committed? Absolutely. Are you committed? Well, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't, right? Everyone says they're committed. You can't just ask people, they want to build a business. Great. Hey, are you committed to doing these things? Yes. That means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. It's kind of like asking all the guys you date, are you nice? Yeah. That means nothing. You have to find out. You have to watch. You have to test them, right? So let me tell you, committed means this. They will do what they say they're going to do when they say they will do it. So once again, let me say that again. They will do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. So if they say they're going to come to class at 7, they come at 7. If they say they're going to get on a phone call with you, they get on the phone call with you. If they say they're going to bring 2 people to put in front of you so you can have a 3-way call or a business builder overview, they do it. If they say they're going to write their list of 100 people by Tuesday, it's done, right? So, I don't know what you're thinking, but sometimes leaders will come to me and they'll say, but Allyse, their dog was really, really sick and they had to take him to the vet, or they got really sick this week, or they had something came up with their kids, or on and on and on and on. They were behind at their work and so they had to stay a little bit later, give them a break, on and on and on and on. And I can tell you from tons of experience, literally working with thousands of people, that this is a huge flag. It's a huge flag. When people don't do what they say they're going to do, it's a huge flag. Those are the type of people I don't want on my front line. Now, I can always work with them and they can always be in my organization, but not frontline people. I need to know that they're committed. And almost every time I have a leader that says, no, you're wrong, I'm going to put them there anyway, I look at them and I say, okay, this is your business, but I promise you in 6 months, you're going to be coming back and we're going to be rebuilding that leg or building another one. And it almost always happens. So these aren't frontline leaders. There may be second level or third level leaders, but if somebody just does what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, that's the first thing that I'm looking for and that you should be looking for. So I want to tell you something really quickly. What if you put somebody on your front line who is committed, but they can't really sign up people? Let me tell you what this looks like, okay? Imagine you have a really good friend, and her name is Anna. And Anna comes to your first class. She's awesome. She's there early. She's excited. She stays late. She helps you clean up. And she wants to build a business with you. And she is committed, right? And she does everything you ask her. She's on the calls. She's the one that brings the peppermint brownies. She's everywhere. She's there. She's committed. It's wonderful. But she can't sign up anyone on her own. She can't bring anybody to the table. She's not influential. And for some reason, she just can't sign up people. Well, let me tell you what usually happens. If you put your friend on your front line, you think to yourself, oh my gosh, she's awesome. She always does what I ask her to do. She's trying so hard. I have to help her. And what does that mean when you say you have to help her? Well, I'm going to tell you what it means. Usually what it means is you then go out and find leaders or shares or product users to put underneath her. And there's all these excuses. It goes like this. Well, she'll really engage. Or I think once she gets the hang of it, she'll be able to find people. Or when her check, I hear this all the time, when her check gets big enough, then I think she'll really kick in. So I'm committed to helping her. But those leaders or sharers or product users that you find, are they connected to her? No, they're connected to you. So what obviously happens is those people call you. They want to do 3-way calls with you. They have questions for you. They want to be with you. You're the one that brought them to the table. And this, my friends, takes completely your time freedom away. Now, imagine you have your friend Anna, and you've had to build 3 people underneath Anna. And she works with them, great. She helps them, but they're connected to you. And so you kind of have to treat them like a front line. So now you have Anna, that's your front line. And you also have 3 other people underneath her that are your front line. Well, what if you put your sister also on your front line, right? And your sister's kind of committed and she does stuff, but she's your sister. And you think to yourself, I have to help my sister. I mean, if there's anyone in the world I want to help, it's my sister. So you go out and you find several leaders for your sister, 3 leaders for your sister, and you place them under your sister. And she works with them the best she can, but she just can't sign her own people up. And so now those people under your sister are also wanting you and connected to you, and you treat them like a frontline also. So now you have your sister and the 3 people underneath her. Now you have not just 4 people in Anna's organization, you have 8 people that you're kind of treating like frontline. And what if you do this again with a friend and you place people underneath her? So what I'm saying, and some people do this literally 20 or 30 times. So I'm going to just count this up. Imagine if you were building like a silver organization with 3 people on your front line, and you place 3 people under each of these people to help them because they're really, really committed, but they're not capable. So let's count it up. Well, you have Edna and your sister and your friend, that's 3. And then you have 3 people under Edna, right? And 3 people under your sister and 3 people under your friend. You're working with 12 people on your front line. Do you realize that that's the same as working as a double presidential diamond? 12 people. That's 6 people on the first presidential and 6 on the second. When I was a double presidential, I had 12 people on my front line, and that's who I worked with. I mean, I would reach down every once in a while and help people underneath them, but my leaders could handle the business themselves when they were trained, and they worked with their own people, and those people worked with their own people. I had 12 people that I was working with, right? Now as a triple diamond, right? I have 18 people that I'm working with. So, you are working like a double presidential, but getting paid as a silver. Do you see the problem here? Well, the problem is that you have no time. You're really tired because you're running around like crazy and you're not making any money. And you definitely don't have the time to go out and find new people to put on your front line because you're kind of nursing this whole organization. You're so busy helping everyone else and building for everyone else that you can't really build a super solid organization where you can have committed and capable people and have time freedom in the future. So the second, is that clear? We want committed people, but that's not all. It's not all. We want capable people. They need to be capable. Now, let me tell you what capable means. It doesn't mean that they have potential. I hear this all the time. They could be so good. Or she used to be the PTA president, or they used to have a really successful business. Like, I really think that we should look at them more. Capable means this, and only this. And it's so hard for people to get this through their brains, right? Capable means that they can sign up people by themselves with no help from you. I'm going to say that again. Capable means they can sign up people by themselves with no help from you. So, what does that really mean? Well, it means that you don't have to be helping them at the very beginning of the business. You can actually sit back and watch if they bring people to the table. You don't have to be building for them. We're going to go into more detail in a minute. You don't have to be building for them. You don't have to place for them. You can just be a leader and train them and support them. Can you imagine if all of your frontline were both committed, they did what they say they were going to do, when they say they're going to do it, and they were capable? They could sign up their own people with no help from you. Can you imagine where you'd be in your organization right now? Well, that's basically why I'm the top distributor in the company. I knew what I was looking for, and I waited. Doesn't mean I didn't sign a lot of people up or I didn't look for a lot of people. I just placed them in the right place, and we're going to talk about that next. I waited until I had both committed and capable people to put on my front line so that in time, when they are trained and when you give them a lot of effort and a lot of support, they are completely self-reliant. And the business is a beautiful thing when that happens. I can't even tell you how it's not tiring. I have enough time. Why do you think I have enough time to go out and build to double presidential or triple? And you know, in time will be triple presidential also, because if your leaders are all doing their own things and they're self-sufficient and signing their own people up, I have time to find new people and the right people that I'm looking for. Does this make sense? So let's just talk about really quickly what the ideal structure of your organization is. Now, of course, no organization is ideal. Things happen. And life isn't ideal, right? But the ideal structure is definitely something you want to shoot for. Because if we shoot for that, we get really close to it. It's kind of like if you know what you're looking for in a family and you have an ideal picture of an ideal family and you kind of shoot for that, you'll get pretty close to that. Or you're looking for this ideal guy, and if you're shooting for that, you'll get pretty close to that, right? So, and you can't be sad if it's, you know, if there are problems that come up, because my organization is not ideal, but it's really close to ideal, and I definitely can work with it. So the ideal structure is simply this. On your front line, you need to be placing committed and capable people. People that do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it, and people that can sign people up without any help from you. They can sign up their own leaders. Okay? That's frontline. That's what goes frontline. And sometimes that takes a while. Sometimes you have to be patient, and you can't push really, really hard. You know, some people I know say, oh my gosh, I have to have the power of 3 because my upline wants me to have the $50 bonus so they can get their 250 and their 1,500. So I'm just going to place somebody really quickly on my front line and build underneath them. You're setting yourself up for a lot of pain and a lot of hurt, okay? And a lot of rebuilding. So look for your committed and capable people and put them on your front line. Second level are people that are either committed or capable, right? Because let me tell you what happens if you only put capable people on your front line. And this is really important. You need to know this. If you only put capable people on your front line, most people go, oh my goodness, this is a little harder to understand. But most people go, oh my gosh, she signed up 6 people in the first week. She has to be frontline. But what if those capable people aren't committed? So basically, if they can sign up a ton of people, but they won't show up to calls, they won't duplicate, they won't do the things that you're asking them to do, they're not participating, they're not training their team, it becomes a mess. And all of these people under their organization look to you for you to help, for you to build, for you to train, and it sometimes becomes even more time consuming for you than even a committed person, right? I'm going to give you a specific example on my team. There was a person, they were several levels down, and he was amazing. I mean, the first month, he literally signed up 50 personally enrolled people, 50. But he would not fall into the duplication model. He wouldn't commit to things. He just really could talk to people and convince people and sign them up. But nobody knew what they were doing. And there wasn't a system in their organization. And after 6 months, he went gold in 2 months because he was signing up so many people. But after 6 months, he came back to us and he basically said, I'm going to go do something else. Because let me tell you about capable people. They're not just capable with doTERRA. They're capable with a lot of things in their lives, right? And so he thought to himself, this isn't working very well. And I'm doing everything and I'm not making a ton of money because guess what? When you're not duplicating in your team, it doesn't work well. Some of you out there know that you can sign up a ton of people and that's not enough. It's not a perfect build, right? So he actually quit after 6 months. And then all of these people in his organization needed to look to somebody, his upline, and that completely took all their time freedom away. So we need both committed and capable. That's why we put committed and capable on our front line, okay? Now, on our second level, like I was saying before, you can put committed or capable. So if somebody is a great enroller, but they're not super committed, they go second level, not first level. Because if you remember, our goal isn't just finding a lot of people that can enroll people. Our goal is to have self-reliant leaders. And that will create time freedom for us. So self-reliant leaders, they have to be both committed and capable. What if somebody is just committed and not capable? They'll do everything you say. They'll show up for everything, but they have a really hard time signing up leaders or even signing up people, right? They go second level or lower, right? So you can still use all these people, but our goal is to put them in the right seats of the bus. What about our third level? So committed and capable, both go on our front line. Committed or capable, one or the other, go on our second level. And somebody always asks me, well, don't you want committed and capable on your second level too? And I'm like, well, yeah. If you can find that many committed and capable leaders, that's even better for your organization. If you have levels and levels of committed and capable leaders, that's fantastic, right? So our third level, that is where you put sharers and product users. Sharers and product users go third level. They don't go frontline or even second level. It will be so painful and hard for you to build this business if you're placing them on your front line, or you're just going to like burn yourself out and run and build for them. So how do we know if someone is committed and capable? How do we know before we have to place them, right? Well, we test them. We have to test them. If you're not willing to test them, you're taking a total chance. So this is the way you test them. When they sign up and they show interest that they want to be doing the business or sharing, or they have interest in building, right? You need to give them 3 to 4 things to do. Like that first week, for instance, have them write a list, have them rate a list, have them come to a class with you, have them get on a phone call, bring a few people on a 3-way call that they know, or come to a team call, whatever it is. It almost doesn't even matter what it is, but you have to give them 3 to 4 things to do so you can test them. So you know if, they will do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. Now, even if they do it this week, can things go wrong after when you place them? Absolutely. And life happens, but at least you're trying to test and you're making your best judgment. And then the other thing that you can do, and this one is a harder one for people. So if you truly want to find out if somebody is capable, if you help them a ton their first week and show them exactly what to do and help them bring on people their very first week, how do you know if it's you or them? And you can definitely help them, but later on. So what I do is I kind of sit back for a week or so and I just see who they bring. I see who they get excited. I see if they're influential, if people listen to them. So I want to, for many of you on the call, right? Think about when you first started the business. Many of you, without any help, without any training, you got people excited. You got people interested. How did you do it? Well, you did it just by picking up the phone and talking. And there's something about you, right? There's something about you that's persuasive. There's something about you that people want to listen to. You have kind of that X factor. And that's what we're looking for our front line. People that naturally draw people in. Now, some people say, well, can you train and they get better with time? Sure you can train people and absolutely you get better and better with time. But the ones that we want on our front line are naturally persuasive. They're totally capable of attracting people and they're committed to do what they say they're going to do. The other thing that you can do, which, sometimes I'll just tell people, well, why don't you put me in touch or let's have a call with three of the people you think are, would be interested or your best options. And if they bring to me 3 product users and they're their best options, that tells me a lot. That tells me, they probably are mostly going to bring product users to the table. And maybe I probably wouldn't want that on my front line, right? Because product users aren't builders. Or they might bring sharers, or they might bring committed and capable people. And if they're bringing committed and capable people right from the very start, you think to yourself, okay, this is totally something that that I can work with, that I could put my time and talents and energy into. And so it's fantastic. So it's crucial to test your people. It's so crucial because if you don't, like I said before, you're totally taking a big risk. And once you test them and you kind of decide, where they would best fit in your organization, first first, second, or third. And once again, CCs go on your first, committed or capable. So 1C goes on your second, and then product users and shares go on your third line. And one of the things that I say is just, if you want to build faster and rank more, don't push people more. Don't try and force people who are one thing into a position where they're not really, they're not either really committed to or capable of. You just talk to more people. You go out there and you put more people in your pipeline so you have more to choose from. And when you do find committed and capable people, it is an unbelievable thing. The business is fun. It's exciting. Yes, there's always ups and downs, but you will love building this business. So your assignment is to look through your organization, right? Your first, second, and third level of your organization, and kind of decide, classify them. Are they product users? Are they sharers? Or are they builders? And if they're builders, are they both committed and capable? Or are they just one or the other, just committed or just capable? And sometimes this is a hard thing to look at, right? Sometimes we don't want to look at this, but it's really healthy for us so we know exactly where we are in our organization and we know what we need to work on or what we need to look for. And as you follow these principles of placements, and in the next calls, we're going to talk about the 4 mistakes that we make in placements. And we're going to go over that in detail, the 4 mistakes, and also how to solve. Because right now you're thinking, oh my goodness, I've made so many mistakes, right? And oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do this. You totally can do it because doTERRA has offered us so many ways to fix placement problems. So we're going to go over in the next 2 calls, we're going to go over the mistakes that we make so we can avoid them in the future and teach them to our leaders, right? And our sharers, our downline. And then also how you kind of fix and turn your organization into a more ideal organization. Thanks for listening today. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.